Pro-democracy protests are still taking place in Swaziland, and this time it seems to have gotten once again violent. This is where a construction company has had to suspend its operation in Swaziland. Inyati Construction is the name of the construction company. And they've had to suspend their operation for a week because of attacks by Swaziland International Solidarity Forces. So it's been reported that Inyati became the target of the pro-democracy solidarity forces after soldiers and police killed dozens of civilians who are demanding democratic reform. For more on this, we're joined by ZweMart and Dlamini. Zweli, other than employing 2,300 workers, why is Inyati Construction significant in the story?
Inyati Construction has been targeted by the Swaziland International Solidarity Forces, as you have just mentioned. They've employed over 2,000 employees. But maybe let me not rush and get into details. Can you please clarify your question specifically in as far as the attacks are concerned?
Why? I'm curious about why this company in particular has been targeted.
Okay, thank you very much. Inyati Construction is allegedly linked to King Mswati through the DB Yotagangwane investment company. Its director, Michelle Shakantu, is the husband of the Justice Minister in Swaziland, who is a member of the royal family. So what actually happened, because from time to time I normally interview or engage the executive command of the Swaziland International Solidarity Forces, and their main concern is that Inyati is one of the pillars of Mswati's dictatorship. So they are highly concerned, considering the fact that while the pro-democracy movement is fighting for democracy or political power, Inyati is looting public resources. In fact, it has been accused of being a conduit for royal looting, such that it's grabbing almost all tenders in Eswatini. Some Swazi business people are now struggling because of Inyati. In fact, they are using the Gupta style. You know the Gupta style in South Africa. It has been a subject of an investigation by the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture. So Inyati is operating like that.
Importantly, though, it seems that, and I like that you mentioned that the perception is that it's a conduit for the royal family. They have over 700 million in projects currently ongoing, and apparently the damage to the business is in excess of 60 million rand, and that people won't be paid up until the business is operational again. Is there any idea around when the business would be operational again?
They had a press conference yesterday where they announced that they are suspending their operation as a result of the ongoing attacks. And they promised that maybe within 1 week they will resume their operation. If you can just look at the figure, 700 million is almost 1 billion rand. These are projects administered that were awarded to Inyati alone. It then tells you that a majority or half of the economy, in fact half of the budget in Swaziland, if you can just estimate, it normally goes to Inyati, because King Mswati is using that company to loot public resources. So now, and as far as I understand, the way they are now structuring for putting it, they just concerned as if people are losing jobs. But the fact of the matter, in Swaziland, people are only paid. You find people working in construction companies, some are receiving 2,000 rand, some are receiving 1,500. They are almost turned into cheap labor or free labor, if you maybe I can put it that way. So that is why the pro-democracy movement is now more aggressive, because you will recall that President Cyril Ramaphosa, in his capacity as the chairperson of the Southern Troika, visited Eswatini, and subsequently there was a fact-finding mission there, and a dialogue was recommended. Now, almost 6 months later, there is no date for a dialogue. So we are seeing now the attacks being escalated, but this time they are targeting Inyati. But it's not only Inyati, because Inyati has subsidiaries that Mswati uses to loot public resources.
Yeah.
So when I engage these members of the International Solidarity Forces Executive Command, they mentioned that they will intensify the attacks until the Mswati surrenders and subject himself as per the recommendation of the SADC Troika on politics and security.
That's what I was going to ask. Are these pro-democracy forces looking to retreat at any point, or are they giving up, or will they be sustaining the attacks on King Mswati and institutions that are associated to him?
Can you repeat your question?
My question is, and it's interesting that you mentioned that these pro-democracy forces say that they are not giving up. So should we be expecting sustained attacks on institutions related or associated to King Mswati?
Of course, as I've already mentioned, in one of our engagements, because from time to time as a journalist, I normally meet the executive command just to understand why they are out perpetrating these attacks. And we might see more violent attacks, more explosions in Swaziland, because what they told me is that for now they are just making sure that it doesn't become quiet, because Mswati's plan was that he will unleash the soldiers and the police while they're in the dialogue so that he can silence the people. So the strategy of the solidarity forces is that they don't want Eswatini to be quiet as if everything is normal. But the reason they are doing this, they say, no, for now, we'll just do these attacks. They describe these as minor attacks, which means there is more to come. And I'm afraid to say that these attacks that might come in the coming months might be more violent. And we hope in Mswati and SADC will quickly resolve this political crisis in Eswatini before everything goes out of hand.
Yeah. Zweli Dlamini, thank you so much for your time. That is Zweli Dlamini, who's the managing editor of Swaziland News. We'll be following that story very, very closely. Really must ask the question, as an absolute monarchy, will democracy ever be on the horizon in Swaziland? And what would that look like? Will it come internally, or will external pressure need to be applied? That's a debate that we need to have, and ask the question, what's the role of the SADC community in all of this? Let's have a listen to some of your voice notes.